Hey Professor, it's Amari McPherson, and I will be talking about Chapter 3, which is Managing Speech Anxiety. Now, it's normal to feel nervous about giving a speech. In fact, I learned that it's actually desirable, but all that really matters is how you respond to that natural anxiety and how you channel it. The chapter goes into three main points. One of the points being knowing what makes you nervous, and one of those things being just having a lack of positive experience, because public speaking in of itself is a nerve-wracking thing to do for anybody, and to do it for the first time only heightens that and only kind of amplifies that natural anxiety that we have. So the one way to combat that is like anything else, to just practice it and hone it and build that confidence by doing it more. Another thing is feeling different. Now, when we're up in front of an audience, for some reason we tend to notice every little thing about ourselves, things that we didn't notice or didn't pay attention to 30 minutes before our speech. But as soon as we get up there, it's all we can think about. And that ultimately distracts from giving the speech in of itself, worsens it. And that distraction worsens it, worsens the delivery of the speech. Um, and the one way to combat that is to just really know that everybody is different, and that to some degree everybody does feel nervous about public speaking. And the last thing is being center of attention. Again, when we're up in front of an audience and we're making eye contact with that audience, if you notice that somebody breaks eye contact with you for whatever reason, mentally we as a speaker feel that we did something wrong because we weren't able to hold their attention. And again, that ultimately distracts from the speech, because that's all we can think about. And and in the grand scheme of things, that distraction ultimately worsens the speech. And and yeah, that's all there is with that. And the second point is pinpointing the onset of speech anxiety. So to begin, having anxiety during the pre-planning stage, that's having anxiety and being nervous before you even start planning for the speech itself. And having that anxiety that early on can cause you to miss vital information necessary to perform the speech. And then there's pre-planning anxiety, which is where you get so caught up in that's where you get so caught up in the planning stages of your speech. And that leads to and that sense of being overwhelmed leads to outright avoidance. And the only way to combat that is to just immerse yourself in immerse yourself in it. Don't be fearful of it, and just kind of go all in, but give yourself breaks and pace yourself as needed. And then pre-performance anxiety is getting so caught up in the, how am I going to say this, is this the right thing to say, does this sound right, and having that fear that you won't get your message across as clearly as you want to, or as clearly as you probably know you can. And a good way to battle that is to just let yourself feel nervous and let yourself have that anxiety and let it sit there for a few minutes. But then after that, kind of train yourself and give yourself that confidence that you do got this, because ultimately anybody can give a speech as long as they put themselves mentally in a good space to do so. And with performance anxiety, that's, dare I say, the most common form of public speaking anxiety. Just having second thoughts while you're actually performing. Yeah, just having that nervousness when you're in front of the audience and giving your speech. And the last thing that the chapters talks about is actually some ways that you can reduce stress while giving a speech. You can do things such as, well, first and foremost, prepare and practice, because once you have that knowledge, then all you're doing is regurgitating it to a group of people. Um, Another thing is meditating, just overall giving yourself peace of mind and calming yourself down. Visualization, which was something that I found really interesting. It's basically just seeing yourself in that moment of you giving the speech, and just seeing you in the best way possible, and you giving the speech successfully. And yeah, take care.